let's start our workshop. If somebody joins us, that would be okay. So we're here today to learn about our cycle and to know what to do with it, what's happening with the body, and how to align that to our life, our goals, our relationships, and so on. So, first question, do you track your cycle? Okay. And the second question, are you in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s? Okay. So, we're going to talk about a few things today. Let's start with simple anatomy, right? Just quick anatomy check. This is our uterus with our ovaries and our fallopian tubes. Ovaries are responsible for growing follicles. All of the hormones are produced there, so it's an important part of our reproductive system. And uterus is where the pregnancy happens and develops, and where our period appears, and it all goes up, right? Okay, so let's talk about us. Let's talk about women. We are beautiful and complicated creatures. You can see that only if you look at our cycle. We're cycling, we're menstruating women. And it's important for us to know that we are different, like every stage, every phase of the cycle. And it makes us, our nature is more diverse, I would say, if we compare ourselves to men. Because men are working, or I would say living, on a 24 hours testosterone cycle, and that's it. And we have at least 3 main key hormones involved in our health and our cycle. And we're going to talk about it today. Couple of words about me. My name is Amira, and I started my journey with having problems with my health. I was unhealthy and overweight back in the day, in my 20s. And then I came to yoga. I was practicing as a, curious girl who wanted to lose some weight, to be more flexible and all of that. And I ended up being a teacher, and I never planned to be one, but it happened. And I was teaching for 6 years. And when I started my first teacher's course, I was introduced to Ayurveda, Indian science of life, and it was interesting for me. What was the interesting thing for me? The whole holistic approach to the body, for the body. So they see body as one whole thing. They don't cure symptom or organ. They see you as one system. So they work with all of them. And I like that approach, and kind of kept it in mind, because when I was teaching yoga, I had a lot of clients who were practicing with me individually, and they started talking about nutrition, how to improve their health, how to do things, and it got me more curious about nutrition as well, food and everything. And slowly, when the COVID hit and we were at home, I started my first course in nutrition. So, yeah, and slowly I dived more into the whole health, nutrition world, and stayed away a little bit from the yoga world. But I still practice myself. Yeah, that was my first certificate, and there are many more came after that. So, and then later I took some time to choose what exactly I want to focus on. And I think the best way for everyone, when they actually face something for themselves, and they try to find information, educate themselves, and that makes them better teachers, I think. And yeah, I was curious about hormones because I was working with ladies as a yoga teacher, so I could see they're different all the time. The whole mood swing thing, or this whole time, like they've been practicing with me for years, I could see they're different. Even how their body works, I knew their bodies already, right? What they can do or cannot do, I could see it's different. So it got me interested in female nature, what's happening with the body. Everybody knows we bleed, right? And I mean, I don't think many people were educated in that, especially people in their 30s and older. Back in the school, it wasn't a thing. And we kind of knew we have a period. It happens once a month, more or less. And yeah, you just deal with it. And it's uncomfortable, and most times shameful. It was. And I got to study more about that, to see what's going on with the body, why it happens, and what's going on with the body, with the hormones, and all of that. So, basically, if we look for information about our cycle, we're gonna find that it consists of 4 phases: menstrual phase, bleed week, period, follicular phase, ovulation, and luteal phase. It's easy to remember it this way because they're like big, 2 huge events happening during our cycle. But technically, we have only 2 phases: follicular phase and luteal phase. The thing is, menstrual phase, the period, is part of follicular, and ovulation is also part of follicular phase. So, but we didn't do it this way, just, easier to understand what's happening. Okay, so, when we talk about cycle, usually the length of the cycle is 25 to 32 days, maybe more, maybe less. And bleed week is usually 3 to 7 days, depends on the girl, on the health, genetics, and all of that, all included. And we're gonna talk about hormones a little bit and what's happening in each phase. So when we get our period, it's the beginning of your new cycle. But hormone-wise, it's basically the consequences of your previous cycle. You got your period, all hormones drop, nothing is going on. But your ovaries are already preparing you follicles to grow, right? And when you finish your period, you are in the middle of your follicular phase. This is when 2 of the key hormones are getting in the game: estrogen and testosterone. The other important hormone is progesterone. I call it the queen of the luteal phase, but we're going to talk about oil, right? So estrogen and testosterone. Every hormone plays its own role in our health, and why it's happening? Well, basically, if we say it simple, we were created to reproduce, right? So every cycle is an opportunity to create life. So what's going on with the start of our cycle? We start to grow new follicles so that we can get pregnant over ovulation and have pregnancy, right? Why do we need estrogen and testosterone? Estrogen plays a crucial role in female health, I believe so, and it's important to have a healthy level of estrogen. What is it responsible for? Our mood, energy level, bone density, our femininity, our cardiovascular health, and many more. That's what came to my mind right now. And in terms of beauty, our skin is the best during this follicular phase, and especially it peaks during ovulation. You can see this. Testosterone, other hormone. Most people believe that only men have testosterone and only women have estrogen. We actually have both. but different proportion. Testosterone is needed for our sex drive, first of all, and our confidence, and the maintaining of the lean muscle mass. So it also goes up and peaks during ovulation time. So during ovulation, we are at our top, at our best. I call it superpower time because I think that's the time when you can go for it, whatever you want to achieve. So your estrogen peaks and your testosterone peaks, and you have a little bit of progesterone still due to chill you a little, just a little bit. And after ovulation happens, we come to the second part, the back of our cycle. It's called the luteal phase. First few days of the luteal phase, your hormones drop again, nothing is happening, and ideally, how it was designed by nature, we were supposed to get pregnant, and the empty follicle release the egg during ovulation. Empty follicle becomes copulative, and it produces testosterone to prepare the uterus for pregnancy, for implantation. So our progesterone comes up, peaks, and then our body realizes you didn't get pregnant, it drops, and then you got period again. This is your new cycle. This is how it starts. So each three key hormones, right? Each hormone has its own benefits for our life, for everything in love. Estrogen gives you mental clarity, ability to multitask, verbal processing, and many more, right? You're extroverted, you're more social, more outgoing, all of those good things, and this is why it's important to track your estrogen, especially after we turn 30. Our fertility starts to decline. And after 35, it depends on the woman again, body slowly starts to prepare to the menopause, maybe entering the perimenopause. And the first signs of starting perimenopause is declining estrogen and progesterone. That's why it's so important for us to keep it up with the food, with exercise, anything we can use, sleep included. The other one, testosterone, as I said, it's very managed hormone. Like, we are motivated, we have this drive, libido is up, as we know, we have confidence, we want to do things, we want to act, basically. That's a good one. We need it a little bit, and it's good for working out since we can release some muscle. And the third one, progesterone, back of our cycle. It gives us this emotional stability, it calms us down, slows us. That's what we need, because body is preparing for potential pregnancy, or slowly will bring us to the PMS period and to the beginning of new cycle. It's responsible for good sleep and our mood. If we experience opposite, it means our progesterone level is a little bit low. And the older we get, unfortunately, it's probably one of the first hormone suffers as we get older is progesterone. The first sign I would say is lack of sleep, when you cannot, you're trying to sleep but you cannot. You cannot fall asleep easily. Okay, in our superpower time, ovulation, I call it manifestation period, manifestation time, manifestation phase, when you can go for anything you want, and you have more motivation and believe in yourself. Okay, and it's easier to divide it into 4 weeks to know what's happening with your body and what you can do about it. If your period is a little bit longer than 28 days, we calculate it easier. Luteal phase is usually 14 days. And if you, for example, if this is 32 minus 14, it will be 16? No. 14?
How many days?
32.
32 days.
32 days minus 14.
Right. 18.
18. So your ovulation happens on day 18. And we have this thing called ovulation window, 5 days before that, and ovulation time. That's your superpower time. So, and as I asked you from the beginning, what do you track your cycle and what do you use? I think they're the most popular ones, right? These two?
I track with Moody.
Moody. Good acronym.
The thing is that this Moody cycle tracker, it tells you every day what your hormones are doing.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's pretty cool because with Flow, for example, they don't have extra if you don't pay the full version,
Yeah.
right? And it's basically just a tracker.
Yeah.
And with Moody, it gives every day. It gives like, hey, this is most likely how you feel today, and then you can say yes, that's me, or no, it's not me, and this is how it learns as well from
About you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I should check it out.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I personally use glue just because I use it for too long, and it gives you this, the drawing that I know where I'm at,
Yeah.
which day is it. It's easier for me to navigate. Okay, I can go hard on my workout today.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are many. I think every day there are more.
Yeah.
I need to remember that. Okay, let's talk about food and cycle. So when it comes to food, our job is to help our body to keep that hormonal balance, right? And we have a few tips about that here. So follicular phase, first half of your cycle. I would say go for increasing your protein and maybe fats, and decreasing your carbs, especially bad carbs. Okay? And the good example is ketogenic diet. I think it's very popular and known. And the other one is called the LCHF, low carb, high fat. Why we do that? Our hormones have very straight connection with other hormones, which is insulin and blood sugar glucose. So testosterone flourishes in more insulin sensitive body. So when we have less carbs, we don't get these blood sugar spikes, and our insulin is more or less stable. That's what we need during the first half of our cycle. And when you come closer to ovulation, estrogen peaks, testosterone peaks, as we know. So after our body uses those hormones, your liver needs to break it down and get rid of it. You need to help your liver. The easiest way to help your liver is to use bitter foods, even spices like ginger, turmeric, and all of that, and eat all kinds of cabbage, broccoli, bok choy, we're in Bali, it's easy to get it, and we're just gonna help our liver. Another thing how we can help our liver is to not drink alcohol during ovulation. It's gonna be very beneficial for your body, and it's gonna be very beneficial for your PMS time with all of the symptoms like cramps, swollen breasts, and mood swings. Okay, and when we get to our second half of the cycle, we go for the glucose, but good glucose. We can go for potatoes, squashes, pumpkin, fruit, papaya, mango, bananas. It depends on your personal choice. I would recommend papaya, because papaya has also enzymes, papain. It helps with the digestion as well, and it has lower sugar level than mango. Mango is considered to be the highest sugar. So yeah.
Banana too, right?
But banana is it has potassium and a few minerals in it, so it's more beneficial and it's good for your gut as well.
Yeah.
So mango is like, you can eat it. I'm not saying like don't eat it ever.
Yeah.
But if you want to like eat a few good pieces of papaya or banana, it will be better than half of the mango. Yeah. And as I was saying, that's the time to go for any junk food you like. I mean, at least that glucose will be used for good. It will be used for producing progesterone. So yeah. And let's talk about exercise a little bit. I believe, working with the clients, I can say that people do not move enough. Unfortunately, here in Bali, people barely walk because everybody uses bike. And we have sidewalks now, but 2 years ago, for example, when I just arrived, there were not too many. So beach walk, yeah, something like that is a nice way to exercise. But again, walking is good than nothing, but it's still not enough. And we're gonna talk about exercise, connecting it to the hormones and what's happening with the body. So week 1, your period, right? Most of the ladies feel uncomfortable during period, especially first 3 days. So if you don't feel like exercising, that's alright. You don't have to. The good way of moving is walking, stretching, maybe light yoga, something easy. But again, if you have cramps and you have low energy, you don't have to force yourself to do it. And slowly, when your period stops, by the end of this week 1, you can go back to weightlifting if you do the weightlifting, or something like that, some activities like that. I know a lot of girls love cardio, but I would say the older you get, the less cardio you should do, and you should shift more to the resistance training and weightlifting, and maybe some kind of activities like Pilates and things like that. Week 2, since we are moving towards our ovulation, we can add to our workout. We can do more weights and less reps. Again, as I mentioned about cardio, cardio is not a thing, it's all about lifting heavy. Why? Because our testosterone goes up and it peaks during ovulation. And testosterone is needed hormone to actually build the muscle. And honestly, for ladies who like to build the muscle, that's the time. The rest of the cycle, I'm not saying it's useless, but you're not gonna build muscle. You're gonna maintain muscle. So yeah, you go harder towards your ovulation phase. And when you have ovulation, that's time to go crazy. You can try new programs. You can try more lifts, just maybe 4 reps, but heavier. You can lift heavier. And for gym buddies, you can train every day. Just do it for different groups of muscles. So it's good time to go for your fitness goal, ovulation time. And when we come to week 3, this is where we slowly start to slow down. We can still lift and do resistance training, but with maybe a little bit less weight. And this is where you can go for your cardio, any kind of, it can be, how you call it, CrossFit? All of these aerobic movements, they're good during this time. There is a connection study about estrogen and risk of injuring yourself, your joints, during follicular phase and ovulation. That's why that's the time to do that. Because estrogen is low, we drop it after the ovulation. And week 4, the last week, PMS week, if you feel like practicing, you can do light weights with the higher reps. You can dance. Again, you can do yoga. Yoga can be different, right? As a yoga teacher, I can say you can heal yourself with the power yoga or vinyasa yoga, or you can do yin yoga and basically stretching. It's still movement. It's good for mobility of your joints and everything. Yoga, if you like hiking, it's a perfect way to keep yourself active. So yeah, that's basic stuff I want to share with you right today. And there is my Instagram. I write about that, about our cycle. I go more about the whole, the biochemistry of the body, the cells, energy, mitochondria, ketosis, all things like that. I'm a big advocate for fasting because I think it's a great tool for people to stay healthy and to actually fight some diseases. And yeah, you're welcome to ask me questions if you have them. Good job. Thank you. It was